Chapter 77. Losing It All. As Quinn looked around him, he found a broken piece of the mech nearby. It was a long metal shape, looked similar to a pole, but he had no idea what part of the mech it was used for. He picked it up and looked off into the distance. He aimed carefully at another mech that was destroyed, far up ahead and off to the side of the entrance. Using all his strength, he threw the piece of metal a great distance. It was an amazing feat and looked almost superhuman. Of course, Quinn was only able to perform this because he had super strength compared to others. The piece of metal landed exactly where he was aiming for, making a large clang sound as it fell on the mech. The rats then looked up at where the noise was coming from and quickly scurried off in the direction of the sound. This is my chance. Quinn, using all the powers in his legs, bolted for the entrance. He had finally reached the dome-like building. The entrance was like a hallway surrounded by a wall on either side, and just a little further up were two steel doors. He tried pushing the steel doors open, but there was no luck. He noticed that the doors were undamaged just like the rest of the building, meaning most likely it was made out of the same material. As he looked around the door for anything, he spotted another access code machine. He immediately rushed forward, placing his hand on the machine and used his inspect skill. I hope these works. Don't let me down, system. U003C, an access code machine linked to the two steel doors. The combination is 33,346,253,778 U003E. However, just as Quinn was imputing the code into the machine, the Rataclaws had returned. As the beasts saw him, they shrieked and called out another two of its friends. There were now four of the things. As he heard the sound of the beasts behind him, his hands started to shake. Come on, beep. Damn, I must have put in a wrong number. His nerves were getting the better of him and his concentration had been broken. He used his inspect skill once again, making sure he had the right code. He started imputing the numbers again when he suddenly felt something chomp down onto his leg. 9 out of 50 HP. As he looked down, it was one of the rats and the other three weren't too far behind it. Quinn then swung his fist down as hard as he could at the rat, smashing its skull into pieces. The rat was forced to let go but still wasn't dead. The other three were now too close and he no longer had any time to input the code. Flash step. Then Quinn was suddenly behind them, but he was still too close to the four rats. Flash step only had a distance of 5 meters at most. The rats turned and all ran forward towards him. I have no choice. He held out his palm and fired. Blood burst. A shotgun-like spray of blood was released from his hand and it had knocked back all four of the rats, killing the already injured one. 4 out of 50 HP. 100 EXP. He then rushed forward to one of the rats on the ground, held both hands together and slammed it down on another rat's head, killing the second one. 100 EXP. Now the other two rats had recovered and were quickly after Quinn once again. Out of desperation, he swung his hands and activated his blood swipe, although this time, the blood swipes were strong and had killed each one in a single attack. 100 EXP. 100 EXP. 850 out of 25,600 EXP. 2 out of 50 HP. With his time running incredibly low, Quinn didn't even bother to get out the beast crystals. There was also the fear that more beasts might be coming. He went up to the door, this time inputting the code correctly, and as he entered, he shut the door behind him, making sure it was locked. He was now in what looked like a reception area, a canteen of sorts with several seats and a desk at the front. It was in top condition compared to the rest of the city. In fact, it looked like an entirely different place. There were two hallways, one leading to the left and one leading to the right, both with the words Training Center written on them. With his health running low, he had less than 2 hours to find the portal. He entered the main training hall. It was a large room with several seats in the stands. It reminded Quinn of the game as it looked similar. Everything was white in color and had a modern, empty look to it. But as Quinn stared at the empty field in the center, all he could see was disappointment. The arena down below was completely empty. There was not a single thing down there, not even a scrap of metal, never mind a portal. Quinn fell to his knees in despair. He felt like this was his last chance. There was no way he had the time to go walking around the city looking for another room with a portal. But he didn't give up yet. He lifted himself up the ground and searched around the training center. He searched in the preparation rooms, the offices, the gym, and even back in the reception area. But nothing. There wasn't a single thing he could find. He now laid there on the floor in the center of the arena, looking up at the ceiling. 1 out of 50 HP. The pain in his stomach was too strong. His vision was now blurring up and he could no longer think properly or move. So this is how my life ends, huh? Quinn said. Mom, Dad, why did you leave me on my own? Why did you give me this book? I thought when I got this book maybe I might be able to change something, but I guess not. Then the final hour had passed. 0 out of 50 HP. HP has reached 0 due to hunger. Transformation will now begin.